Google gets a massive blow in the court of law when a judge rules that they are, in fact, a monopoly. To make things worse, Elon Musk and his social media platform X is partnering with the video sharing website Rumble. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Don't pull right down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Airy. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment to what you think. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell and consider becoming a channel member. All right, it's a big tech showdown and it's coming fast for Google, which is owned, of course, by Alphabet Inc., which also owns YouTube. So basically what happened was Google was under an investigation in an antitrust lawsuit, and essentially they were being accused of being a monopoly. So what a monopoly would be considered is when they have a majority share of a certain marketplace, and despite the fact that there is competition, the competition can't ever get past it, maybe due to regulation or because Google, being the giant that they are using their technology and their power to prevent rivals from rising. So this is according to Marketing Drive. Google loses search antitrust case in blow to digital ad juggernaut. Analysts expect the landmark decision could open the door to search competitors that have long vied for a bigger foothold in the market. Google maintains an illegal monopoly on search, a U.S. federal judge ruled Monday. The highly anticipated decision represents a major blow to the largest player in digital advertising and stands to be a potential watershed moment amid a larger regulatory crackdown on big tech. The ruling could open inroads for search competitors that have long vied for a stronger foothold in a highly trafficked and lucrative corner of the web. For Google search engine optimization and search engine marketing are industries within themselves. At the same time, it could add fresh layers of complexity to an online landscape undergoing rapid transition as laws around data privacy becomes more stringent. We've already seen signs of competition heating up in the search business. This will embolden challengers to Google's dominance in that area, said Andrew Frank, distinguished vice president analyst at Gartner's marketing practice, in emailed comments. In addition to diversifying SEO and SEM strategies, optimization may experience even more disruption in digital advertising performance as the flow of data about user interests and behaviors becomes more fragmented and scrutinized. The decision by U.S. Judge Amit Mehta, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, places heavy emphasis on Google's distribution agreements with other companies, including Apple, to make its search engine the default option on popular web browsers and devices like the iPhone. Such deals have made Google a name synonymous with search and squash competition, the ruling argues. Google's general search services and general text advertising run afoul of Section 2 of the Sherman Act, Meta stated in the 286-page ruling that sided with the Justice Department. Remedies are still being decided to address Google's search practices. After having carefully considered and weighted the witness testimony and evidence, the court reaches the following conclusion: Google is a monopolist, and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly, Meta wrote. Now, Google does plan to appeal this decision. It says so right here in this article. I want you to go to Marketing Drive and read it for yourself. I'm actually not surprised by this. Google has long used their power to disrupt the activities of rival search engines. And it is a shame because Google could be a force for good, right? But using algorithms, they have suppressed searches, they have suppressed searches for rivals. I know that one of the aspects of the Rumble lawsuit against Google is that even if you type in, say, Donald Trump rally, Rumble, Google will still bring you to a YouTube video first. And of course, Google owns YouTube through its parent company, Alphabet Inc. In my humble opinion, I think this was the right decision. This isn't a matter of other search engines like, say, FreeSpoke, DuckDuckGo, or even Bing not being able to compete with Google because their technology is worse or their search engines aren't as good. I've actually heard the opposite. Both Bing and DuckDuckGo, as well as FreeSpoke, consistently provide users with better search results. Maybe not as expansive as Google because Google has its fingers in so many pies, but they do consistently get better results for you. I've found this out personally using DuckDuckGo and FreeSpoke. I don't use Bing a whole lot, but definitely DuckDuckGo and FreeSpoke both have generated really good searches in the form of research, at least. Now, what Google was doing, which makes them a monopoly, in my opinion, was they were using their power to suppress FreeSpoke and DuckDuckGo. That is not free market capitalism. Everyone should be allowed to compete on the same playing field, and Google should not be allowed to use its power to suppress their competitors. And I know I'm saying this video goes out to YouTube, obviously, so that just goes to show you how bold I am in saying that this is a problem. This is something that Google has had to deal with for some time. And I think that in this particular case, the judge is right. I'm always kind of suspicious of monopolies. Like, one of the most famous cases was when Warner Brothers had bought DC Comics. I believe this was during the 80s. They had considered licensing the DC comic characters to Marvel, because there have always been rumors that Marvel wanted to buy DC. That wasn't what was going to happen. Warner Brothers itself just didn't want to deal with DC Comics. Warner Brothers has owned DC for some time at this point, and they own them to this day. And so they were just like, hey, we don't want to do the comic book side. We like the movie side, but we don't want to do the comics. So we're going to license them out to Marvel. Marvel was excited about this. And apparently they were so excited about it because their number cruncher said, hey, we double our business overnight. However, a rival comic book company, I believe it was called First Comics, they said, hey, wait a minute. If Warner Brothers licensed DC Comics out to Marvel, then they have a monopoly. Now, I disagree with that decision because Marvel ultimately just decided not to go through with it because they're like, it's not worth it for an antitrust case against us. But it ended up being a good thing for DC Comics because then you had Neil Adams, Frank Miller, and a host of other people join DC, and it led to this resurgence in DC Comics. As far as it goes for this Google case, I think that this was the right decision. Google is using their powerful technology to not only get ahead in the marketplace, but they're using it to suppress their rivals. This lawsuit against Google is also having ramifications for advertisers because we're seeing advertisers were primarily using Google and Apple products to get their stuff out. And Elon Musk, at least, is alleging that these advertising agencies banded together to keep people from getting on X and Rumble. X, of course, formerly being Twitter. Elon Musk changed the name after he bought it from Jack Dorsey or whoever else. So it's having reverberating effects already. So this goes to what's happening right now. And this comes directly from Rumble, from a press release that they did. Rumble, the video sharing platform and cloud services provider, announced that it has joined the social media platform X to file antitrust lawsuits alleging a conspiracy to withhold advertising revenue from Rumble and other digital media platforms. In its filing in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas, Rumble named as defendants the World Federation of Advertisers, as well as the advertising agency WPP and its subsidiary Group M Worldwide. The conspiracy centers around an initiative called the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, created by the WFA, then that established arbitrary standards for the content on digital platforms where its members may want to advertise. GARM used those one-size-fits-all standards to perpetuate an advertiser boycott against Rumble and other platforms. The suit also notes that GARM has vast reach since it counts the six largest ad agencies holding companies among its members, including defendant WPP. The brand safety standards set by advertisers and their ad agencies should succeed or fail in the marketplace of their own merits and not through the coercive exercise of market power, Rumble's complaint reads. All of this illegal conduct is done at the expense of platforms, content creators, and their users, as well as the agency's own advertiser clients who pay more for ads as a result of their collusion. The unlawful conduct alleged by Rumble is also the subject of an ongoing investigation by the U.S. House Judiciary Committee in Congress. Oh, good. So they'll get a strongly worded letter. An interim committee staff report issued in January found that the way GARM has operated in this regard is likely illegal under the antitrust laws and threatens fundamental American freedoms. Rumble is seeking a declaration that the defendant's conduct is illegal, a permanent injunction against the continued conduct, damages, interest, legal fees, among others. Relief. So, as it says, Elon Musk is joining this lawsuit as well. And this is going to lead to a big tech showdown because the WPP also has close ties to Google. So this will have reverberating effect on the digital landscape. It's kind of funny because they wanted to regulate the internet, but the internet, at least the users on the internet, are quite frequently saying, no, we're not doing this. We're not having this conversation. The internet should be the Wild West. And I agree with that. This is not about capitalism or free marketplace. What WPP and GARM are doing, at least that is being alleged, and I'm not a lawyer, so no legal advice, is that they are, again, using their power to tell advertisers, if you go on Rumble or X, then we won't back you up. we're going to slow you down, we're going to stop you, so don't go on those platforms. Now, remember, GARM isn't one organization. If this was just one organization doing this, then I would be like, oh, if they don't want to go on X and Rumble, that's fine. But what they are doing is they are preventing their clients from saying, hey, I see there's a user growth on Rumble and X, I'd like to advertise there. Oh, no, you can't do that because we don't like Elon Musk and we don't like Rumble. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely silly that they're preventing other people. That is a monopoly and it's not free market capitalism. Everyone should be allowed to compete in the space that they are in as much as they want. And it is up to the consumers, the customers, the audience, the viewers, who gets to decide which is the best. That's how a marketplace of ideas should work. So get ready. There's a big tech showdown coming between Google, between X, between Rumble. Like I said, Rumble has a lawsuit against Google right now that's still ongoing. So we're going to have to sit back and wait to see what happens there. But this is going to be a huge thing happening on the internet, at least since cat videos. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment and tell me what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications whenever I post a new video. Also, consider becoming a channel member where you get all kinds of exclusive perks. If you don't want to support me on Big Tech because of the video I just did, I don't blame you. Click on the link to my locals community. It's kind of like a Patreon or Subscribe Star. You can give me tips for articles that I've written or become a monthly subscriber. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. You can also purchase one of my novels. This is my latest one, Blessed Child. It's a fantasy romance novella, and I think you'll like it. I think you'll have fun with it. It is a good read, at least in my opinion. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.